Are you ready?
You already what?
We're not muted.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
Okay, so, all right. So we'll call the Public Works Standing Committee meeting of Monday, July 27th, 2024 to order. We are all in attendance, Hattie and myself, the mayor, and Public Works Director, Mike Maple. It doesn't look like we have anyone else in the room or anyone else online at the moment. So let's get started.
Okay.
Approve, the meeting minutes for July 14th, 2026. Did you get a chance to review them?
I did not review them. I did not, and I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, we can just put it off till next time.
Okay.
Remind me when I'm doing the agenda to do that.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, Public Works update. Just give me a second here. I just need to-
Well, I always start with stormwater, I guess. There's not a whole lot going on in stormwater right now, other than we do have 3 sections that we'll be working on in the wastewater project that we're starting next week, August 3rd. It will be, that's when
Already?
that project's gonna start. The North Receipt was actually for today, but it got pushed back till Monday because, we were short of materials, so. And then.
And where are these 3 sections?
What's that?
Where are these 3 sections,
We're doing,
basically?
basically, this project's kind of a hybrid, just
Oh,
because we want to do the sewer in 22nd west of White Avenue, because that's just a mess. Well, the other thing that's a mess up there is the water and the storm water. So we kind of just, rather than try and include what the water part of the water project, the wastewater part, and then break it all up and have 3 different contractors in there at 3 different times, we just put it all together in one project, so we're just gonna do it all at once. So that's a section of stormwater there. The other 2 sections are on Oaks by the pool, because when DEQ reviewed our plans, they noticed that we have stormwater inlets on those streets that go into the sanitary sewer, which is illegal. We have a lot of them around town, but they didn't want to put project money into a violation. So they said either pull those out of your project or fix it, rather than pull it out of the project, since we had it all engineered, and then dig it up and fix it, and then dig it up again to do the sewer. We're just gonna dig it all up at once and do both. So that's how that came about. And the wastewater project is starting August 3rd. That project, like I said, it's kind of a hybrid. It's got some water, some storm water in it. It's gonna be a great project, I think, for city. We've got an area over on 17th and McGillen where we have like at least 6, maybe 7 homes all kind of tied together on a really crooked service line. So we're going to address that with this project. The line that collapsed the first year that I was here down between Hagen and Platte, which is in terrible shape. That one is going to get replaced. There's a line that goes from Park to Kainuu that takes a lot of water on because it's clay tile pipe and it's leaking water at every joint. So that's a good one. There's a lot of good. I'm hoping we'll get rid of some water in our sewer with this and increase. Same thing on the 22nd. We have had a history of sewer problems up there. This will address those. So. And that project is, I've got the schedule for it. I'm going to put it on the internet tomorrow. They say they're going to be done by the end of September. I think it'll be middle October when it's done. But, and that should be our last project of the year. We're getting close on the stream bank project. And we may try and tie that in this year, but I don't anticipate that being much more than a week-long project.
That's the Rocky Fort Street Bank.
Yeah. And the biggest hang-up on that, I think, is gonna be the flood permit is currently, I think it's out, I think it might have been published and we're,
There's one floodplain permit that I did, I don't remember if that's,
yeah, I think it's in the paper now, so we should have our permit easily within a month. The big question on that one is if we can get viable willows for the willow plantings. 'Cause I can't remember what we're putting in there, I think around 1,800 willows. If we can't get viable willows, then we'll push it to spring. The other big project going on is the street project.
Yes.
That's been going pretty good. The east side, I kind of split it into east and west side of Broadway. The east side, all the excavation work is done, all the subgrade work is done. Probably 80% of the concrete that needs to be poured to pave is in. The only thing lacking is on plat. There will be concrete that will be poured later after the paving, but we're hoping that concrete crew will get done on the east side next week, and we should start paving on the east side August 10th. Could be sooner. And then on the west side, we're probably almost 50% done with the excavation. And the concrete crew is gonna get over there starting August 10th, so I'm guessing we'll be paving that September-ish. Parks, what's the last? I can't remember what that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We've been mowing, we've been fixing sprinkler systems. The Lions Park sprinkler system's been very problematic this summer, but we're getting it. The pool has been, from everything I've heard and the fact that I don't hear much, it's a good success this year. I've gotten lots of compliments about the pool. Probably the biggest critic of the pool is our CPO, Willie, and he's ecstatic. He loves it. He says that they're keeping it super clean. Everything's running good. We had our annual inspection, and we passed it with flying colors, and we had our boiler inspection today, and we passed it. Everything there is pretty tip-top.
Are all these inspections surprise inspections, or any of them surprise?
The state one is, they just show up. We don't know when. Usually, it seems like they're either really early or really late.
Before you're ready, or.
They're busy in the middle.
Yeah.
What I will add to that is that team, Willie kind of trained and had them doing stuff that hasn't been done in the past, like the little ditch where it drains, that collects all the water up. They have gone through and cleaned that. Like I said, I wasn't down there, but everything that I've seen going on, I'm sure they were very happily impressed. Because that pool is the cleanest it's ever been, so.
Yeah, it's tip-top.
Great.
If you see anybody's working in the pool,
Say
Tom,
thank you.
they're doing a good job. I put down here in solid waste, I'm sure everyone's well aware. We have a lot of bears in our garbage right now.
Yeah.
You know, I think I see on Facebook and stuff, there's getting to be more education stuff out there, people talking about it, but I guess spread the word. You know, one thing is, I have a good story, is last night I heard cans tipping over right back here, and I looked out the window and the bear was tipping over my can, but the lid stayed on.
Yeah.
And I went out there, I let him get down the alley, and I went out there, and all the cans were tipped over, the lids were latched.
Yay, I know.
That is
Yeah.
a good story.
We,
And I looked all the way, this morning, I looked all the way down the alley, probably down past, like by the historical, by the museum. There's a can tipped over down there too, and there's no trash in the alley, so
oh, that's
that's
good.
a good story.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know we've been getting a lot of,
Big bear too.
geez.
It was.
Big black, was it one of the black ones or was,
Black bear.
okay, was it the
I
grizzly?
yelled at it, but it didn't do anything.
No. He's just like a nuisance to fly to him.
Yep.
The last thing, and it's on the agenda here, is I'll talk about those water rights issues a little bit, from what I
Okay.
know. Do you guys get a copy of Denison's little thing about?
Yeah, it was in the
It's in the
packet.
packet.
I mean, based on my conversations with Denison, basically, you know, by converting these their surface water rights, is what they are. Based on my conversation with Denison, we do have the potential to convert those into subsurface rights. There's a mechanism for that. You can do it. Is it easy? Depends on if there's objections to it or not. And you can change point of conversion of them, which is what we need to do to turn these into in-stream flow right now. And the way I understood it from Denison was the desire to put them in in-stream flow is that that would be considered utilizing the water right. And currently, we're not using the water right because it's surface right from Remington Ranch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's flood irrigation right. And if you don't use your rights, they take them away. So I think that's kind of what's going on here. I did talk with Skylar today, the new attorney, to just try and find out, because I don't know where we're at in that time frame. If we're approaching that use it or lose it, if we passed it and in some kind of grace period, or if it's where it's at. And I asked him a lot of questions. He said he was gonna get together with Scott, because he didn't really have, he's gonna get back to me tomorrow, supposedly. He's gonna figure some stuff out, 'cause I didn't get any of those questions answered.
In Denison's initial letter, he was kind of pursuing a thought that had us selling water rights. Am I correct in my understanding that that's not the option we're pursuing?
Well, I think that, I don't know, I can't remember what the exact language was, but, I think there was some discussion, and once they are in stream flow, of perhaps getting some financial value out of them, but I don't know, I guess from my perspective, that would be okay, as long as it's like a lease.
It's not indefinite.
I feel like, and I'm not that educated on this stuff, but, you know, if, I understand the need to convert them in-stream flow, so we're utilizing them. If somebody wants to pay us for that in-stream flow, that's great, but I don't think we should sell the water right.
We shouldn't give up our claim to it.
I don't think we should either.
Down the road, you know, well.
Well, what if our well,
Once the evening goes, we're
Yeah.
gonna need the water. So
yeah, I know, what if our well goes
Might
dry?
not be
We
5
have-
years, might
yeah.
not be in whatever.
You
Somewhere
you
down the
don't
road,
sell water
we're
rights.
gonna want it.
of it.
And, you know, that's why I asked those questions, like, can we convert this surface right? Because surface right doesn't really have its value to us. But if we can convert it to a subsurface right, then it has value. We could, you know, if we have a lot more development on the west bench, we could put a tank tower up there and a well.
Mhm.
You know, we're gonna need the right for that. Well, it could be this right.
Definitely. No, that's a great idea. No,
But
I,
I don't think it's gonna happen. I won't have it in my career, but maybe, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't think we should get rid of them.
no.
And I think that was my apprehension. I think a lot of council that I heard back from, that was an apprehension too, about we shouldn't be giving up water rights. So I appreciate the extra effort you've put in chasing those answers down.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't, I don't feel like I got a whole lot of good answers, and I still chase it.
Good job.
Yeah. No, I thank you for doing that, because when I first started, I just kind of, you don't sell water rights ever, you know, if you have. And I know we used to get our water from the creek, correct? It just
was
changed flow, and then we couldn't get it anymore, was my understanding, or did we just,
Creek kind of migrated away.
yeah, so then we dug a well.
And it's just, there's a lot less inputs on subsurface water than surface water,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and sometimes surface water can have a lot more contaminants in it too, from,
Well,
you
you
know,
have to, when I say inputs, you have to,
yeah.
it's a bigger process, we have to
Yeah.
put a little chlorine in it.
No, well, now when it's full of E. coli or whatever, you know,
Filters and
yeah, animal poop
UV
and,
radiation
yeah.
and-
At least we're not at the bottom of the Yellowstone after it's gone through Billings and Miles City and Forsyth and Glendive, so, you know.
Thanks for that.
No, because they literally use the Yellowstone for their water, so
And
their water always gets.
and the lettuce farm to boot.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I will say on park stuff, one thing, I'm gonna meet with Greg O'Neill this week, 'cause part of his deal, he said he'd purchase a little workout thing for either the top or the bottom, like something you can do. We're gonna look at some options,
Just climbing that hill isn't enough.
Hardcore.
and then he's got a bench that he's putting up, we're gonna talk about that. I believe, I'm gonna talk with Lonnie, we are, right now, the plan is use some of that Parks Project money to get the trail up and rolling, and the first three things that need to happen to do that are the geotech, and we want to, I think it's pretty well mapped out what everybody, you know, there's been a couple reiterations. We worked with the owner and changed the boundary a little bit to get a little better grade out of it. But I want to get that design evaluated by our engineers, just to get something on paper that says we've done our due diligence. And we had, I don't think it'll be much, because it's a trail, but we've had requests from citizens in the area up there to do an environmental review prior to building the trail. So I think we're gonna try and get those three things kind of rolling here in the next month.
You're gonna use Parks Project money for that?
Yeah, that's the plan. Resort Tech in the Parks budget.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions for me?
Good job.
All right.
I just think that COP is a nice company. I enjoyed being in front of my house for 2 or 3 weeks.
I saw you out there every day talking to them.
They're a
She's
great
just
company.
standing like she's part of the crew.
I'm gonna be really happy when they leave town.
Yeah.
I'm gonna celebrate.
I know, I understand.
Three, how many crews do they have up? Three? Three, do they have 3 crews up, 2 or 3 crews?
You know, like today, it's hard to tell because, they ran in too many different directions, I feel like, and.
Well, you've given them a heads up that if you start doing that, we can't keep up, we will slow you down. Have you felt the need to exercise that option yet?
We've had a couple come to Jesus meetings. We just had one right before I got here.
Oh, shoot.
It must have gone well, because
Slow.
it's really calm and chill.
I know, good.
Not really.
You're not showing it.
Well, you know, if you have to have someone here
No,
all
they're
summer,
good,
they're the good guys.
They're very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they drive too fast sometimes.
in their loaders. No.
It must be fun.
I know they're gonna do the water line, I guess, in front of our
I do know
house.
that's a conversation that has happened because we've talked about it a couple of times.
They're like, he's like, yeah, you can leave your car parked on that side. It's the opposite side of what we'll be working on. I'm like, no, I won't.
Yeah.
Not with those big loaders zipping around. I'm like, nope, I like my car, thank you. You'll total it if you do it.
We will have one, two tie-ins on Adams line that are, gonna be very, we'll be happy when they're done. During those, currently right now, all town runs off of the tank on the hill, and we fill the tank on the hill from the tank up at Waterworks, and we can also fill it from the town well. When it comes down from the tank, and this is something that kind of I discovered, as we were looking at this, but basically where the water line comes down at Adams and 17th, that's like the aorta of our water system for town. So we have to turn that off. We might do that, all the town's out of water.
Oh, wow.
But we're gonna switch it over where we run, hopefully off of the upper tanks and bypass that. But that whole process is gonna be, until we get it figured out completely, a little nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's your neighborhood.
Yeah, it is my neighborhood. That's where I said they're gonna go right in front of my house.
But that's all the town.
Yeah, but I was.
That's where those,
I just
yeah.
had to pick on her.
I know. Then we got big piles of gravel in front of the house across the street.
Mike, I have a question on trash cans. You're aware that one up on the golf course that had no cassette in it.
So we got one.
I got a new cassette in there. She's not able to open it still. I swapped it to I swapped her with my cassette to see if it worked. I don't know, it's one of two things. It's either maybe the alignment on the top isn't doing it, or the other one is that style of can just doesn't work well for 85-year-old hands. How hard is it to swap it out to the toter, and how do we do that in a way that's scalable? You know, if we've got people that are having difficulty opening cans, can we trade them out someplace else? And then what genie did we just let out of the bottle if we do that?
Well, I'll reach out to Ryan tomorrow and I'll ask him what our availability is for those guys. I saw one somewhere the other day too.
Yeah, we have one behind our office,
I love it.
but it's.
We don't
take
have any
myself.
on hand though?
I don't have my, no, I haven't. They just kind of come in. I don't even know about them until I see one somewhere.
We just got ours
I'll
this
see if I can.
Right?
I do know that the FWP has some from the grant, but from the conversation I was having with Daniel this morning, they are not the ones that automatically open when you pick them upside down, so it requires people to get out of the truck. I had some concerns about introducing those in town.
I think they probably work, like where they tip the cans down here, but on a golf course where they just drive up and grab them, wouldn't work.
Yeah, so that was a question. I know they have some different trucks that are there, but we have an older town, so the fact that I know of one because it's somebody that I know.
I mean, I could see if I could get like 20 of them at Public Works, and then we just kind of.
The other possibility is if there's a smaller one, that would work fine in this particular situation, particularly if it was easier to use.
We talked about smaller cans in
Yeah.
our contract.
If they weren't gonna charge us any differently, but
Yeah.
a can that can't be used properly, a can that can be used properly works. We saw that last night. But if they're not being used properly or they can't be, then it doesn't meet the objective.
No, I mean, if you go down between Hagen and Platt, there's a lot of not used properly cans down there.
Mm-hmm.
That alley's always full of garbage.
And I spoke with Chief Schrock a little bit about this morning and let him know that our ordinance is kicking in 2 weeks. I'm working on a letter, and FWP is wanting to make sure that we do a very significant enforcement push on it. They're pretty out of,
Your citizens want a very significant enforcement.
yeah.
According, I mean, yeah, the comments, they're just,
No,
they're
that-
sick of it. That, well, they really made them, it really got to them when it was posted that 6 bears, you know, announcing that 6 bears had been killed.
And it's
You
now
know,
7 in
And it's
town.
now 7, yeah. So, you know, they're just over people not taking care of their trash. My brother keeps his in his back porch because the bears hit South Platte so hard, you know, so he puts it out in the garbage
And
that
then-
morning that the trash comes.
And the problem is, the Bears have reached a point, that there was an officer out there that was bluff charged 3 times.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
yeah. So it just, I mean, if you can't get your can to work, then don't put your garbage out. I mean, it stinks, but don't put your garbage out till garbage day.
Well, does it stink until you open it?
Right? When it's in a 90-degree porch, it doesn't really smell very good.
They do a pretty good job of containing the smells. They do a reasonable job.
I'm talking, it's just in the garbage
It's
back
your,
in your back.
it's your brother.
It's my brother. You never know what that kid's eating.
So are these, animals being killed or euthanized?
They're being killed, let's call it what, I do know that there were 3 that have been successfully transported out.
Good.
But there have been 7 that, and euthanized, I think one of the conversations that came up in the bear discussion is euthanized almost sounds too sterile, and people aren't getting the message.
Oh.
So we're having to
Use the
kill
word
bears
kill?
because
Yeah,
of your
all right.
stupidity.
There was one right on the corner of 19th and Adams that they shot and killed.
19th and Adams.
Yeah, right by
That
my
was the
house.
last one, that was up in the tree.
I don't know, I
Was that
just,
just like a week ago?
my neighbor saw him loading it up. He heard the shot and went outside, and then he saw him loading the bear up. So, yeah, it's not like they're,
So if your question is killed, where it was shot, so what do you call that?
Killed is fine, I'm just, people have asked me, you know how it is, people,
Yeah. No, you-
how are they killing them, you know?
This one was shot, because that was the option that they had available to them.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
just like the one up at MK Campground.
mhm.
They couldn't get out of it, they just shot it right in front of
That,
everybody.
by the way,
Like,
that was the same bear that he went up and shot with a rubber bullet. Remember I told you I'd come down and called him because it was out pacing on top of the trash can, and I was almost past it, and I felt bad for not stopping and honking my horn.
mhm.
And he went back and said, I get everybody mad at me, so you don't have to, and I said, I wouldn't have bothered, but you're doing what you can to protect the bears, and he went up and hazed it with a rubber bullet,
Yeah.
and yet it's still walking into camps and
Well,
chasing people off.
those people had left all their stuff out on the picnic table and left. And like,
MK people?
yeah, the MK people did.
And the
That's
grizzly
awful.
that's been up at Waterworks is actually a numbered bear. It's 836, so they know exactly what she does and what her reputation over the year. That's the same one that was coming down up on the golf course in the middle of the afternoon. It's on
Yeah.
Broadway in the middle of the afternoon. She's a goner.
Have
And-
they caught her yet?
No, she's avoiding the traps, but that's also the one that they are very aware of that somebody was specifically feeding.
Oh, well, I know who it is.
Let's just feed a grizzly
He's getting
bear.
a lot of mileage on his YouTube channel, and he's not gonna give it up.
My
Are you
understanding is
kidding?
it's not tied to a YouTube channel.
It's tied to a local guy, I'm not gonna mention his name.
If its name is Don, that's not who it is.
Oh, I'm shocked.
I asked point blank and was told no. Because, the what's actually behind it, to my understanding, is some really bad understanding, because they went and talked to the individual, whom I still don't know with certainty who it is. They gave him a report that said, here's a report that says if you feed the animals, then they're no longer dangerous and they don't attack. And it was basically really bad science. There's good science, there's bad science, and
Oh
there's
my
dangerously bad science that people
There was
go out
a
and
lady
say.
back east, like, I don't remember where it was, like North Carolina or something like that, and she's feeding these black bears all the time, and the black bear killed her.
Oh!
That's right,
I'm
they'll
like-
kill you for your Subway.
Yeah. I'm like, she'd been feeding it all along, and then
Oh,
it
aren't they
just,
cute,
it killed
playing in
her.
my pool?
Yeah.
Well, Tim up in Alaska was, yeah.
And black bears aren't usually that way unless, you know, you're doing something stupid like that.
So, yeah, so it's interesting being privy to, and like I said, I'm trying to share some of that information. I did at the last council meeting. It obviously has helped generate discussion
Oh, yeah.
online. But they said, we want to get the conversation going. I said,
Well,
sure, because I can do it.
I posted it on my Facebook page after that, and then it got, people shared the crap out of that fact all over Facebook. It was, yeah. So, I mean, and now people are sharing pictures
And
of
like I
garbage
said,
in
the
alleys,
sad
so.
part is there are people who are literally of the opinion that they are saving those animals by purposely feeding them.
And I am mentioning, like, deer and turkeys, like, don't feed any of them, because you're inadvertently feeding the bears. I mean, you
And
can't-
they don't need to be fed.
they don't need to be fed. We have such an overpopulation in the city limits.
They're eating all the
They
berries.
need to go up in the mountains and.
I know. They're townies. They never leave town. Like,
Oh, boy.
and then we get mountain lions in town and they wonder why. Like, well, we have food. Okay.
All right.
Anyway, we did talk this morning in admin and finance about the possibility of, hate to say this, but amending that ordinance again, because we didn't put in there like who gets the ticket. We just said you will get a ticket. So it mainly comes in when it's a long-term rental or a short-term rental. Does the property owner get the ticket, or does the tenant get the ticket? And, or, like if it's a short-term rental, does the property manager get the ticket, or does, you know? So, but the mayor was gonna check with, council and have them, review that.
I understood you were gonna check and tell us if it's good the way it is or if we need to tweak it.
No,
The
you
question
said you
just
were
came up.
going to send it to the
Oh,
city
to legal
attorney.
counsel.
Yes,
Counsel, not council.
Oh, yes, yes. You were gonna.
This is bad enough in writing, it's even worse when you're doing it verbally.
I know. Legal counsel.
Yeah.
To have them review it and see, you know, if they have an opinion on what would be best. You know, if it's a long-term tenant, personally, I think they should get the ticket.
Absolutely.
But if it's a short-term rental, obviously you can't track down who was staying there. So it would either be, to me, the property manager or the property owner.
Yeah, they need to relay the information correctly.
We'll see. So there's that, you know, if you have any opinions on that, we'll find out what our legal counsel says on that. So there we go. Okay, anything else that we need to cover at this meeting? We're gonna get out of here quick. There's no public here, so no public online, so we're good there. So if you guys are good, we'll just adjourn.
Adjourn.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for being here.